What if a killer was lurking in your neighborhood, targeting your pets with chilling precision? Over 400 cats were found mutilated in London, sparking fear and hysteria. With no leads, no suspects, and the media running wild, the city feared a serial killer on the loose. Was this a sick individual stalking the streets, or something far more sinister? Stay with us as we uncover the shocking truth behind the Croydon cat killer.
Trust us, you won't want to miss this revelation!
Cat killer, it started like a scene from a horror movie. In London, over 400 cats were found dead, their bodies mutilated in ways that looked almost surgical. It wasn't just the fact that they were dead, it was the sheer precision of their injuries that got people talking. Some cat owners began whispering about a predator stalking their pets in the dead of night, targeting them with an eerie sense of purpose. This wasn't just a random series of attacks, it was something calculated, something chilling. As the bodies piled up, the media quickly caught wind of it, feeding into the growing hysteria. A name was soon attached to the mystery: the Croydon cat killer. The public feared that this wasn't just about animals anymore. Could this be the beginning of something worse? Was this just the first chapter in a twisted tale that could escalate to humans next? The fear was real, and the panic spread like wildfire through the streets of London. People were terrified that a killer was lurking in the shadows, taking their beloved pets one by one. The question on everyone's mind: who could do such a thing? And why? Fear spreads as the gruesome discovery of dead cats continued. The fear began to spiral out of control. Pet owners were left shaken, unable to trust their own neighborhoods. Imagine waking up one morning to find your beloved cat not just dead, but disfigured beyond recognition. This wasn't an isolated incident. This was happening across various communities, and it was happening more frequently. Word spread quickly, fueled by social media and sensational headlines. People talked in hushed tones, sharing stories of mutilated cats spotted in different parts of London. The mystery deepened. How could this happen in such a densely populated, surveilled city? The community began to question if they were truly safe. Some even feared that the cat killer might one day turn their attention to humans. The whispers turned into public outcry. Pet owners demanded answers, desperate for reassurance. The police were under intense pressure to act, but the question remained: was this really the work of a human, or something else entirely? The paranoia intensified, and the fear became almost palpable. Everyone wanted to know who was behind these horrifying acts, and when would it stop? Investigation begins. Scotland Yard had no choice but to intervene. With the fear of a possible serial killer targeting animals, they launched an extensive investigation. Operation Takai was born, and the hunt for the mysterious cat killer began. It wasn't just a few officers working on this case. Scotland Yard brought in a team of 15, including forensic experts, to comb through the evidence. The police pored over hours of CCTV footage, searching for anything out of the ordinary. They scoured neighborhoods for suspicious vehicles or figures lurking in the shadows at night. Every inch of the areas where the mutilated cats were found was searched, and yet, despite all their efforts, no solid leads emerged. The investigation expanded beyond the ordinary, asking residents if they had seen anything strange, interviewing witnesses, and seeking any clue that could point to the identity of the killer. But despite these intense efforts, the case seemed to have no resolution. The pattern of the killings and mutilations was too precise to ignore, but the investigation came up empty. The pressure continued to mount. What was going on? And who was behind these terrifying acts? Public panic as the investigation dragged on with no concrete answers. The fear in the public only grew. Pet owners were horrified, not just by the deaths of their animals, but by the brutal manner in which they had been treated. The name, Croydon cat killer, spread like wildfire, and it wasn't long before people began to panic. Everyone was on edge, worried that their own pets could be next. The media played a huge role in fueling the hysteria, highlighting the gruesome details of the killings in sensational headlines. This wasn't just a story about dead cats. It became a story about fear and the unknown. People began avoiding the streets after dark, too scared to let their cats roam freely outside. They feared that whoever was behind these killings might escalate, targeting not just animals but humans as well. The sense of panic was all-consuming. Pet owners formed online groups, sharing tips on how to protect their animals, and some even started petitioning the police to do more. Over 20,000 people signed a petition demanding action to stop the so-called cat killer. The more time passed with no answers, the stronger the fear became. Everyone was asking who was this killer, and when would the violence stop? Shocking conclusion. After years of investigation and hundreds of thousands of dollars spent, Scotland Yard finally released their findings in 2018. The shocking conclusion: there was no human killer. The truth was far less sinister than anyone had imagined. The mutilations, which had terrified so many, were actually the work of red foxes scavenging the bodies of dead cats. Scientists, using modern imaging tools and DNA testing, examined 32 of the dead cats and discovered that 1/3 showed clear signs of fox involvement. The puncture wounds and tear patterns matched the typical behavior of a scavenger, not a person with surgical precision. The rest of the cats had died from other causes: heart failure, blunt force trauma, car accidents, and even poisoning. The red foxes, naturally nocturnal and opportunistic feeders, were responsible for many of the injuries, but it had been assumed these were the acts of a human killer due to the severity and precision of the mutilations. This revelation left the public stunned. Many who had invested so much emotional energy into finding a human culprit felt betrayed. The investigation, which had consumed so much time and resources, had uncovered something entirely different. While the mystery was solved, the fear that had gripped London seemed hard to shake. Could something so terrifying have been so easily explained by nature? Foxes revealed the red fox theory wasn't the end of the investigation. It only deepened the mystery for some. With the public's outcry still fresh, scientists took it a step further. They decided to examine the remains of the dead cats more closely, not just to quell the growing doubts, but to get a clearer understanding of what had truly happened. Using modern technology, they performed autopsies and DNA testing on 32 of the carcasses. Their findings were both surprising and unsettling. 1/3 of the cats had clear signs of red fox involvement, including fox DNA, puncture wounds, and typical scavenger marks on the bodies. This confirmed that foxes were responsible for many of the mutilations. However, the remaining cats had suffered from natural causes like heart failure, blunt force trauma, or car accidents. Some had even been poisoned. It turned out that the entire incident had been misinterpreted. The media, the public, and even the authorities had been focused on a human culprit, while the real perpetrators were urban foxes, small, nocturnal animals that roamed the streets of London. Urban wildlife experts noted that there were approximately 10,000 red foxes in the city, and their scavenging habits were well known. But even with this explanation, the public was left questioning why it had taken so long for the truth to emerge. Were the authorities just too distracted by the fear of a human killer to notice the more logical explanation? If you were just as shocked by the truth behind the Croydon cat killer case, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more true crime stories! Do you think the police were too quick to jump to conclusions, or was the fox theory truly the answer? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And don't miss our next video, The Unsolved Murder of Daniel Morgan, a corruption scandal in the Met Police, coming soon!